Hi, my name is Omar Mohsine. I'd like to introduce myself. I work for I'm the UN coordinator, open source coordinator, and I have several roles in that capacity. My job is to make sure that we push for large scale adoption of open source within the UN. First, the UN Secretariat, but also have another role where I am co-chairing a community of practice where we try to bring other UN agencies into the open source adoption and coordinate whatever we do together. And I also try to use the convening power of the UN to push open source at a much larger scale. I'm one of the team that have been working on putting together this event. So we call it the UN Open Source Week. So it's a series of events. We started with the action days for 2 days. We call it UN Tech Over, where we have hackathon, editathon, maintainathon. This is really bringing the community together to come help us do some of the work for us. So build software, improve, in this case, UNICEF widely used software, edit Wikipedia pages related to the work of the UN, but also maintain, because for us it's very important that we do the infrastructure. Other thing we did through this week is to have a 1 day about OSPO for good, or about open source. We're bringing really stakeholder and expert and from all over the world. And the Thursday is a day where we call it the DPI day, where we're bringing mostly government and all the practitioners about the importance of adopting digital public infrastructure, but making sure that those are open source. Why we do this, again, here we want to use our convening power. There's a lot of conferences that are very regional, but we really want this to be the global conference where we have representatives from all over the world. I'm very happy to announce we had registration from over 45 countries, which is pretty rare for a technology conference. We also give a voice to all the stakeholders, government, academia, private sector, civil society. And really we want it to be a platform of exchange, of learning, of sharing of best practice and success stories and so on. And we really want to inspire a lot of our attendees on when they go back to their organizations or to their government to be able to everybody run and adopt open source. Absolutely. I had the pleasure to introduce the award for open source excellence to the winner, Mr. Daniel Stenberg, and recognize all the incredible work he's been doing throughout those decades. It's important, I think, the open source community needs recognition. We need to recognize, because these are people who are putting hours, hundreds, thousands of hours from their time, collaborating with strangers that they have never met, just because of one objective, one goal, is to building pieces of infrastructure or pieces of software that are benefiting everyone. And that is the collaboration model that I would like to recognize and give time and give credit to these people, because without them, internet, the technology world, the technology space as we know it will be completely different. And we are all indebted to them for giving us this open space that we have today. Yeah, absolutely. I think the congratulations to the European Open Source Academy for the successful first year of the awards. We're looking forward for more winners and more awards to come forward, and having also a global presence of the work of the Academy. I think we really need to give recognition. These guys, we owe them a lot. Without them, internet, the digital space as we know it, will be less open, less transparent, there will be less collaboration. So these are the pioneers, and those pioneers really deserve recognition. So thanks to the Academy for the great work. The thing I'm really the most looking forward to the Open Source Week is to have the global representations that we managed throughout the week to inspire people, inspire government organization or private sector or academia. I want them to learn from each other. The problems that whatever government is having from north is very similar to whatever problem government comes out. So like make sure we don't reinvent the wheel and that we get to learn from each other what works, what doesn't work, but also to probably help trigger some partnerships, some collaborations, some inter-stakeholder collaboration or north-south collaboration. We'll see. So this is really our aim here. Use the convening power of the UN to make sure that we bring everybody, that everybody feels he has a voice and that every voice is being heard. What open source matter for us is, I work for the UN, an organization that was built on the idea of collaboration, on the idea of not one single country, not one single organization can achieve all these goals that are really big that we all have of peace, security, development, and human rights. So the idea of collaboration is at the heart of everything we do. But when we see what the open source community managed to do in the digital space, is basically the whole vision of the bringing people together that the UN has been trying to do for a long time and successfully doing for a long time. The open source community did it in the digital space. So we have a lot to learn from the open source world, where millions of people work with strangers that they have never met, they're probably never gonna meet. A lot of them are probably not doing it for money or doing it for fame, they're just doing it to help and to collaborate. So that is now our big goal. How can we get the open source community at large to spend some of that time, some of that effort, some of that collaboration towards building software for UN Sustainable Development Goals? We want if we can get just 10-20% of the global open source community start building software for us, and this power of collaboration of everybody coming together, working towards one goal, which is the 17 sustainable goals of the UN. That is our big goal, and hopefully we get there together.